Hello, my name is Aidan and welcome to another Golf Predictor video tutorial. In this tutorial I shall be talking about the great new spider or radar charts recently added to Golf Predictor. To do that we will go to the main predictions page, which is accessible via the predictions menu. So click on the predictions menu, first item, and if you do that you'll be brought to the following page, which as usual I have preloaded. So we'll just scroll down to see the field for this tournament, which is the FedEx Cup Dell Technologies Championship in Boston, and we'll just click on Jordan Spieth. This loads up Jordan Spieth's data page, and here in the General tab we can see there are two new chart icons that you mightn't have noticed before. These two icons are spider chart icons. So to see what they show, we'll just click on them. So for example, if we click on the one beside the prediction rank, we'll bring up the following chart, and you can see at a glance straight away that Jordan Spieth's recent performances are much better relative to the other metrics that you can see on the chart. So this chart shows graphically, or compares graphically, his average finishing position this season in his last 5 events on the same course, in the same tournament, in similar weather, in similar tournaments, and so on and so forth. In this case, similar tournaments means other FedEx Cup events, and to note about the tournament and the course, these will be the same if the tournament is held on the same course every year, otherwise they'll be different. So you can see straight away at a glance, rather than looking at all the numbers for his average finish and these metrics, you can see straight away that his value for the last 5 events is much closer to the middle of the chart, or the origin, which means it's much better, so its value is lower. So if you hover over the point, you can see his last 5 tournaments, his average finish is 9, which is pretty good. Whereas if you go out to one of his weaker ones, which is course or tournament, click on that, you see his average finish is just under 35. So you can see on this chart straight away where a golfer's strengths and weaknesses are for a particular tournament. So I hope you'll agree this is pretty useful. So this chart shows only one golfer, so it's a single golfer chart. So you only see one polygon and it's filled in with this yellow color, and as you just saw, you can hover over the point to see the actual numerical value. Okay, so we'll just close that. And we'll have a quick look at the other one on this page, which is the other spider chart, and this time it's for field rankings. So it's related to the one we just after seeing, so we'll click on that. So you see again, you have field rankings, Jordan Spieth's ranking in the field for the various metrics. So for example, his world ranking is 2, and since DJ is also in the field, again it's a FedEx Cup playoff event, so the field is very strong, then he's ranked 2nd in the field for world ranking. And again, we just after seeing in the previous chart that his last 5 events value of 9 is pretty good. So you can see in the field he is ranked 2nd for last 5 events, trailing only Paul Casey, funnily enough. So again, you see in this chart that his field ranking for the course and the tournament, which are the same value because they're all both there. The tournament is held on TPC Boston every year. You can see that his field ranking of 26 is relatively poor compared to his other rankings. So we saw in the previous chart that his actual value for these metrics is relatively high, and you can see that corresponds to a relatively high field ranking for Jordan Spieth. You should say at this point that all his field rankings are good compared to the field at large, but relatively speaking for Jordan Spieth, you can see that he's strongest on the world ranking metric and the last 5 metric, while weakest on the course/tournament metric. So I think you'll agree that these charts are very useful to get a picture of the golfer's performance and the various metrics at a glance. Again, this is just a single golfer chart. So to see an example of the multiple golfers spider chart, we shall go to the compare golfers page. So to do that, we can go up to the predictions menu and click on one of the options for comparison. So for example, we click on compare predictions tee-off groups, and if you do that, you'll be brought to the following page, which I have also preloaded. So just to scroll down here a bit, you see here you pick the different groups in the tournament, the different tee-off groups. So for example, we'll just leave the default, which is the first group with Kelly Craft, Danny Lee and Kevin Na. And you see down here there's another new chart icon here for spider charts. So if we just do that, if we click that, we shall see the following chart. So again, it's similar to before. You have the same background, if you like. These are called spider charts because the background looks like a spider's web. Also looks like a radar readout, which is another reason why it's also called a radar chart. So in this case, there is a polygon for each of the golfers that we have chosen to compare. Now in the tee-off groups compare pages, you automatically get the 3 golfers in the group, but if you went to the basic compare page, you can pick up to 10. Now you can only see up to 4 golfers on this chart because it just gets too messy and too hard to read if you've got more than 3 or 4 golfers. So again, another difference from the previous chart that we saw with Jordan Spieth is that the polygons aren't filled in. Again, this is for legibility reasons, so it just makes the chart easier to see. So we can see here at a glance, without even having to look at any numbers, that whoever is the red polygon, which is Kelly Craft, you can see there his values are worse than the other 2 guys, Lee and Na, who are more or less similar in the middle there with the blue and green polygons. So we see at a glance that Kelly Craft's stats aren't as good. So again, we can hover over a point to see a value. Now, another difference between the single polygon radar chart and the multiple polygon one, which we see here, is that one of the golfers may not have a value for a particular metric. In this case, you can see that Kelly Craft doesn't have any course or tournament history. So what happens then on the chart is that there is a default value picked, which is the just slightly above the biggest legitimate value on the chart, and in this case it is 133, which is told to you there in the brief intro for the chart. So the reason why this is done is just to format the chart better so it looks as good as possible. So it tells you up here any value of 133 is default, i.e. the golfer does not have any data for that particular metric. So that's what we see here for Kelly Craft, and again, if you hover over the point, it will tell you that. Okay, on some charts, depending on how the polygons overlap, they can be very difficult to read. So another feature of this multi-polygon chart is that you can actually highlight each golfer by just simply clicking on his name in the legend up here. So if you click on the name, you see there Danny Lee's values were highlighted. Again, we'll do that again for Kevin Na. You see that his values are highlighted, so you can just see his values a bit easier. On this particular chart, it's not a problem because it's very easy to read, but most of them might be a bit more difficult. So this is really helpful. Again, if you highlight Kelly Craft, you see his values there. So you see this is a very, very useful chart. Not only can you see the relative values for each golfer, you can highlight them values and then see at a glance which of the 3 golfers in a tee-off group or which of the 3 or 4 golfers you've chosen to compare on the other comparison page. You can see which one's got better stats at a glance. So this chart makes it very easy to find out which of your golfers that you've chosen to compare has been performing better. So I think you'll agree this is a very useful chart, and I hope you find it beneficial for picking out players for your betting or your DFS needs. Okay, so well, that's basically it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.